And welcome to Patrick's Models and Transport. So in the last video I dismantled the motor. Here we have the 3-pole motor. I'm actually watching what I'm doing. I dismantled the 3-pole motor of the GéGé electric locomotive, and once I took it off the chassis, it isn't even held together. It's just held together by being screwed onto the chassis. I had to remove what was left of the very decayed, how do you call them? Well, couplings. Yes, couplings. Rubber couplings between the drive shaft and between the motor shaft and the drive shaft, which drive shaft is here. I'll show you the drive shafts. These are the drive shafts that then transmit the motion to the bogies, okay? And these are held together with these rubber couplings, which were completely decayed. So we'll be replacing them with something else. We'll show it in the specific video when we get there. Okay, I'm not anticipating anything. So at that point, the magnet, this is a ring-field motor in the end. It's a ring-field motor because we've got a ring magnet, and here's the winding. The commutator is in here, and we're going to take the brushes out. So I had a quick look because last night I was tired. I couldn't understand how to get this out, and I was a bit fed up. Also because I had strands of fiberglass in my fingers. I think there's still one in the index somewhere here, but I used an ointment. They'll come out eventually, and that's it. Okay, so let's take the brushes out. In fact, we'll get a wee vessel to put the brushes in to clean, because we don't want things getting lost. And we just open this screw here. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Trying to put the light in such a way that we can all see. I can see and you can see. So here we have, and I think we can definitely, okay, there's a screw. Let's take the screw out, stick it in there, move that magnet out of the road, and the brush just comes out like that. There's the brush. This locomotive worked plenty. It's had a busy life. Look how worn down the brush is. That's really pretty worn down, huh? That brush there. That's a quite used brush. Probably, I mean, I won't need to change the brushes. There's still enough brush there for running this. But in future I'll have to consider getting new brushes for this. And definitely they're copper brushes by the look of them. Aye, there they are. Probably the standard sort of Hornby Triang brushes, you know, for XO4s would do the job. They could maybe be modified or soldered on. This is simply soldered on like that. There's a soldering point there, and that could be done. So, but we'll think about that when the moment comes. Anyway, so we can see that this locomotive has had a long service life. So the brushes are just held in these brush holders, the brush arms, let's say, and that's it. They don't even come out. That's okay. Right, that's one. So we don't want to make, because things have got a certain wear, they've taken a certain shape on a commutator, I want to be able to distinguish left and right. So this is the left of our locomotive. I'm going to put these in lighter fluid to clean. I'll give them a clean with lighter fluid, but I want to mark them with something to just give them, to make sure that, let's see what I could use. Something that sets quickly, that I don't get dirty afterwards. And we just done that bit. There we go. That's it. This is the left side. In fact, we can just do that, and that way we know that goes there. Okay, perfect. Problem solved. So that's one. Let's get the other one out as well. That way we can take the whole rotor assembly out of the motor. Okay, here we go. There's a screw. Stick that in there out the roads. Then we can just take this out. It should just pop out like that and come out. Ah, this one's the one, this one's underneath. Okay, that makes absolute sense. One's on top, one's underneath. That's right, I mean, it couldn't be otherwise. Okay, and so this is the one that goes on the other side, and even in this case we can see how the brushes are quite worn out. I'll have to see about this in future. Okay, so now we can take the commutator, we can pull the winding, the motor. Is this going to come out? Ah, it's not coming out because there's a little bit of remaining, there's a trace of rubber there. I don't know if you can see. Maybe we'll have to put a spot of extra light here to see what we're doing. Yep, there we are. There's some traces of old decayed coupling rubber here. So we're just going to rub that off using this. This way we can slide the motor, pull the motor out of the bearing. And here it seems to have a copper bearing. There seems to be a metal bearing in here. Let's see. I'm trying to get this out. Ah, there we go. It's going to come out. Oh, it came out, no bother. Perfect. Okay, so there's a wee washer on there. You can see there's a wee washer. We don't want to lose that washer. And there's a wee washer at the other side as well. The commutator is very dirty. Really very, very dirty. This needs cleaned, and we're going to clean this right now. And let's have a quick look at here's the brush housing in here. And you can see I'm getting a toothpick as a pointer. There's a little copper bearing right there. So there's a bearing here at the front, but there seems to be no bearing whatsoever at the back. Or maybe there is a bearing. Yes, there is. There's a bearing even here. It's quite worn down. In fact, there's pretty worn down bearings. There's a bearing there as well, yes. Yep, that's what I was expecting. There's a bearing here. Pretty worn out bearing as well by the look of it. But we'll clean that out. We'll clean the bearing out properly. And we'll pack it with grease. So when we reassemble this motor, when we reassemble the motor, generally I always put a mix of technical petroleum jelly and sewing machine oil in the bearings. Mainly because putting only oil, you might have the oil going down onto the brushes, onto the commutator, and that'll burn your motor out. In this kind of motor here, with this big motor, we could even put, just to make things run smoother, definitely here at the front, where we're close to the commutator, a mix of technical petroleum jelly and oil. And at the back here, also because this, we can protect the bearing better with oil. Apart from the fact that technical petroleum jelly would even do the job because it's very fluid, very, very lubricating. Here at the back, where the bearing is much more worn out, we could pack that with technical petroleum jelly grease, and that'll really, I might have to reconstruct this bearing. That's a problem. Seems to be in a very, very, very bad state. I hope I'm not just showing. You can see that it doesn't look very healthy. In fact, it looks a bit rusty as well. But we'll see this once we reassemble the motor. First we have to clean the motor out and see what's what. But the good news is that the front bearing's in very good nick. Okay, very well. We'll now get some lighter fluid and give this commutator a clean. Here we'll get some of our usual cotton buds. That's grease. There's still some in here. Let's see what kind of dirt comes off this. Okay, I'm just going to pour some lighter fluid in this wee bottle. Okay, we don't need gallons of it, and we'll just get our job done right here in view on camera. So we're going to move this boy out the road. Very powerful magnet. Let's keep it away from the computer. It might be a wise idea to keep it away from the computer. Okay, let's have a quick look at the commutator. And we don't want to lose any of the washers and things that are here, because here there's a series of washers, we see. So let's maybe even take them out. I think I might do a smart thing. Oh, just screws are clean enough. I'll just clean all these metal parts in some lighter fluid. Let's put a squish of lighter fluid in there. There we go. Give everything a clean, because really things are in a very bad way here. So there's two washers here. One and two. Off. A pair of tweezers to see what we're doing. Okay. This is the one that was further in. Let's stick that in there out the road. Of course the thing's magnetized. Okay. Now we'll take the other one off as well, which is here at the far end. There's only one here at the far end. Also pretty dirty. Okay, right. Let's get this commutator cleaned. And let's see what filth comes off the commutator. Okay, there we go. I think this has never been opened in this. Oh, it's dirty, really very dirty. Look at the dirt coming off there. Really very, very dirty. This is filthy. But apart from that, it's in pretty good condition. It's not scratched or anything. Let's change sides. A good clean. Okay, that's nice. Right. So that seems to have come nice and clean. We'll just use the same cotton bud now, this cotton bud here, to give this motor shaft a clean. Then we're going to have to clean the rust and things off this. There's some corrosion, using the fiberglass pencil while wearing gloves this time. But we'll do that later. Might even do that off camera, because there's nothing particularly exciting to see. Let's clean that in the bin. Another one in there. Let's clean this one, just to give it a preliminary clean to get rid of any dirt and mank that's left here. Okay, very well. Now we'll give the commutator another wee clean. I've got the remainders of dust from the brushes and things it gathers on here. Now, very important, we'll take a toothpick, a nice clean toothpick. Here's a toothpick. What I always do, I wet my toothpick in lighter fluid, and then I go in there and you clean the sections of the commutator in between the elements of the commutator here. Make sure any dirt doesn't gather in there. Just with a wet toothpick. Remove any dirt, and this will improve the performance of the motor. Here's the last one. And there we go. Now that we've removed or dislodged the dirt from the commutator, we'll go with the cotton bud again and just sort of concentrate on this part and make sure that everything's nice and clean and we've dissolved all the dirt. Okay, perfect. That's a good job. I think that's very okay. All the contacts are all good. The winding is in good condition. Let's clean using we'll actually clean this part here to see it, remove any other dirt deposits. These cotton buds are rubbish because they tend to disintegrate. They were bought cheap. I think it was Action we bought them as a chain. Yes, these are absolute rubbish. They're leaving strands all over the place. Not great. Okay, that's nice and clean. I'll just use my finger to clean it to get rid of any strands that might have remained lingering on there. Okay, right, that's that done. Now we'll take the cotton bud, as I always do, and we give the housing, the brush housing, the commutator housing a good clean, because that's always full of dirt of all types. Ooh, it's black. That's dust from the brushes. This looks like kind of Bakelite kind of plastic. My, look at the filth there. That's a disaster. There we go. Let's go here, give it a good clean. Ah, there we are. That's it. Oh my, that's a mess. That's really dirty. Let's see what we can clean up again better. This one. Okay. I think that's okay. We'll use a bit of tissue paper as well, just to stick. Give it a wipe out with tissue paper, dry. That's okay. Right, now we'll take this toothpick here, or the one we used before, and go in here and clean out the bearing to make sure there's no rubbish in the bearing. More dirt, look, because brush dust goes all over the place. It goes all over the place. Especially, I don't even know how old this thing is. Look at the state of that. That's nice and clean now inside. Okay, so we've cleaned that. Let's have a look at the bit with a magnet. Which part will be probably super dirty. Still petrol in there. Let's have another couple of cotton buds here handy. These ones are very dirty. Put them in a bin. Okay, righto. Let's just... Okay, give that a good clean in there. Clean the inside of the magnet. Oh, not bad. The back bearing, now that I cleaned it, seems to be in better condition. It looks nicer than what it was. So maybe things are not so dire. It's pretty filthy, isn't it? Okay, let's just wet that. Get that a good clean. Motor bearing. Cleaning out the motor bearing. Oh my, that was dirty. That was dirty. Let's just stick that in there. Steep the toothpick in lighter fluid and then just give it a good clean out. There we go. That's a good clean out there. Okay, that seems much better. I'll just wet that again, give it a clean there, give it a clean here. seems okay. It's alright. Let's see that there's no strands of cotton from the rubbishy cotton buds in here, but well, seems good. It seems okay. I think it's okay. Very well. That does the job, so we're good to go. Right, that's ready. Let's have a quick look at the brushes now. Oh, we're going to have to get some more lighter fluid. Oh, we have lighter fluid. There's some in here, and we have to just put things into steep. Let's have a look at this brush and see what state, how much filth comes off that. Yep, quite a lot. Quite dirty. Yes, these cotton buds are junk. It's important to clean the brushes and give them a good clean. There we are. Okay, let's wet that one there as well. See what we have here, if we still have fluid. Lighter fluid's evaporating big time here. Okay, let's clean the other brush. There we go. Generally I steep them as well. I haven't steeped them this time, I should. Okay, bit cleaner. I'll definitely steep these. I'll let these steep a bit in some lighter fluid. Anyway, so that's it. That was the dismantling and cleaning of the motor, and I'll let the brushes steep, and this way everything's nice and clean, and then we'll make a following video with the reassembly of this motor. Okay, that's it. If you enjoyed the video, you can give it a like. If you find this in particular, I'm very interested in hearing your comments on these motors or on these locomotives. And the main reason I'm making these videos, well, one of the reasons I created the channel is that there isn't much information in English on continental railways. As there are, yes, there's lots of videos in French, there's lots of videos in even Italian enthusiasts and so on, but the whole point of my channel is to, considering now everything's accessible at an international level through eBay, Vinted and other platforms, we can access stuff that was never for sale in our respective countries, because GéGé was not for sale in Italy, for example. It was Lima, Rivarossi and so on. Even Juef was as rare as hen's teeth. And I've discovered all these other brands, apart from Hornby. I knew about Hornby because for geographical reasons I knew about Hornby. And my very first train set was a Hornby clockwork. It's still in my ex-room at my parents'. I'm going to have to bring that home and I'll show you it in that video. And this is the whole point. So to make videos in English that everybody can understand at a global level on these obscure, old-fashioned, or all types of locomotives and stock, and in particular rare things or obscure things like GéGé. So if you have any experience, or have you ever opened or operated any of these motors, have you ever run any of these trains, please tell me in the comments, and I hope these videos are useful, because GéGé stock, in my opinion, is very interesting from a technical point of view. It is very entertaining. I've not run this because I wasn't able to run it because there's no belts, but it's something that you can really enjoy on a layout. And so if you have any, I'd be very curious to hear your opinion on these things here. So of course I'll finish everything off with the usual nursery rhyme. If you like the video, you can give it a like, and of course subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell. And cheerio, and see you next time. Ciao ciao.